There's a question that most people never ask when they're evaluating a LinkedIn automation tool. And the problem is, what was the thing actually built to solve? Because the answer to that question determines everything: the features that got prioritized, the defaults that it ships with, the behavior that it rewards, and ultimately what happens to your LinkedIn account and your reputation when you use it at scale. So the problem is that most automation tools in this space were built to answer one question: how do we send more messages faster? And that's a reasonable engineering belief, and the tools it produces are genuinely good at sending a lot of messages. The problem is what happens to the other end, to the reply rates, the account safety, and to the professional reputation of that person whose name is on every message that gets sent out. Conneqter was built to answer a different question. And I want to show you why the difference matters, because it's not about your results, but for the safety of your account. So volume first automation is a trap. You have to understand that LinkedIn is watching every single move that you have, and it is looking for robotic behavior. It is trying to prove that you are in fact using some form of automation, which goes against the terms of service. So if you're sending identical messages, you have these big spikes in use and all the same exact follow-ups that you're using, LinkedIn's going to know, and they're going to ban your account. And getting a banned account is very, very hard to get back. And you can't just open up another account. Okay, we live in an identity verified situation on LinkedIn where now if you want to verify your profile, and a lot of times when you start using any of these platforms, they're going to ask you for that ID. So trying to go back through that process again is very hard to get an account back once it's been lost. So you have to take the safety of your account very, very important. So when it's suggested to you to go heavy on volume, to use spray and pray methods, this is a trap. And using a tool that was built for volume first is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make when you're trying to think about how can I automate my activity on LinkedIn. And that is because LinkedIn is watching every single move that you do. It is looking for robotic patterns. It is looking for you sending the exact same message every single time, these big spikes in use, these uniform follow-ups. And the irony is that the volume first tools that are optimized to do this produce exactly what gets those accounts flagged. And once you get your account flagged, you are looking at a possible ban. Once you get a ban, well, now you can kiss your account goodbye. And getting that account back is almost next to impossible. Nobody that you can just talk to with LinkedIn who's going to reinstall your profile. So when you look at volume first, this is maximum amount of messages being sent. This is the identical templates and with a little bit of variable substitution. They're optimized for throughput, and they're really just targeting the 3% who are ready to buy now. And so when we look at human first, we can look at very specific targeted prospecting lists. We look at messages that are built around signals that people put out for who are people are in a buying pocket. We're looking at something that mirrors human activity and something that is designed to start real, genuine conversations. Because again, and I've said this a lot in my videos, LinkedIn is not a social media tool. It is not a social media platform. It is a networking tool. So the automation that you're choosing to do this with, we are not anti-automation. We very much use it, but it has to be done in a human first approach. So when you look at LinkedIn as a networking platform and not a social media platform, we have to look for very targeted approaches, not using mass messaging on the platform. We want very personal outreach, because when you're trying to go after accounts who are small, medium, enterprise level businesses, their inboxes are full of this spray and pray approach, and it does not work. Because when you're just trying to get 1%, 2% replies, and you're just doing spray and pray methods of somebody that taught you today in 2026, those are 2021 tactics. They do not work anymore. They honestly stopped working at around the beginning of 2024. We started to see a huge dip, and we completely changed our approach. And during that time, we sought out a new platform to do the automations, because we also recognized that with this big dip down, LinkedIn was getting tougher and tougher and restricting more and more accounts. So we thought, well, how can we use a little bit of automation while staying within the terms of service of LinkedIn, not jeopardizing or risking our accounts, and being able to actually book sales calls without having to sign into the platform 24 hours a day, morning, afternoon, and night. You get the picture. We sought out a totally different tool. And when we did that, we had clients get crazy, insane results. We had a marketing consultant. She did $9,000 in revenue within the first 40 days of us launching her on this platform. We had another agency owner. They did $100,000 in pipeline and now books 3 discovery calls a day. We had a blockchain CEO who now books 5 to 7 calls a week. That CEO You used to have to fly from conference to conference to conference to have these face-to-face conversations. And before us, all of these clients had tried all the platforms before, all the different ways in which to automate their accounts, and could never get it to work. So they were very impressed. I was very impressed. But you have to understand that this Conneqter tool that we use is not built for everyone. Ideally, you are in a B2B sales process. You're a consultant, you're a service provider, maybe you own an agency, maybe you're in SaaS, but it's for a B2B sales process. And if maximum volume is your only priority, this is not the tool for you, but a sustainable, reputation-safe outreach, this is the one that you want to use. Now, if you click in the description below, I have a 7-day free trial for you to use. And if you send me an email to support@salesbites.co, my team is going to hook you up. You just need to say in that email, hey, Kara, I watched your YouTube video, and they're going to set you up with the various campaigns and messages that you saw on the previous slide with all those results that we got, the exact same style and frameworks and messages and campaigns. We'll get you all set up so that you can start sending out messages today and start getting your profile to book the 2 to 3 meetings per profile per day that we use with the Conneqter software. If you're still with me this long, be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe because I put out new videos every single week on just exactly how we use platforms like LinkedIn, Meta, Cold, Inbound, how we book B2B sales calls for ourselves and for our clients. Cheers.